I haven't gotten a studio job in 15 years.
If you get back, will you behave in another way, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
One of Hollywood's biggest stars disappeared overnight. No scandal, no arrest, no meltdown. He was just gone. Val Kilmer didn't walk away from fame. He was cut off, shut out, and erased. His name vanished from casting calls. His films shelved. His legacy quietly rewritten. And now, decades later, a terrifying picture is starting to form. One whispered about in back rooms and buried under decades of silence. Because, according to Mel Gibson, this wasn't about ego or illness or fading popularity. This was a message, a warning, a punishment for knowing too much and refusing to stay quiet. He didn't just lose his career, they made him disappear. And once you see the clues he left behind, you'll realize Val Kilmer may have been trying to warn us all. Val Kilmer wasn't just another actor chasing fame, he was fame. The youngest student ever accepted to Juilliard, a leading man with both range and mystery. By the mid-90s, he had headlined hits like Top Gun, The Doors, and Batman Forever. He didn't just play characters, he became them. Then suddenly, he was gone. Like, what actually happened? When it was time to film Batman and Robin, he wasn't even recast. He was rudely replaced, without a damn word. But that's not all. Years later, director Joel Schumacher finally spoke out. He called Val psychotic, said he was spoiled, impossible, and that working with him was bliss only when Val wasn't talking to him. But in an industry known for rewarding bad behavior, why was Kilmer blacklisted for it? Hollywood has no problem with difficult actors. Plenty scream, throw tantrums, even sabotage sets and still win awards. So what on earth made Kilmer different? According to Mel Gibson, the problem wasn't Kilmer's ego, it was his refusal to play the game. He didn't schmooze, he didn't flatter, he questioned things. And in Hollywood, that can be fatal. It gets crazier. Mel says Kilmer didn't just ignore the rules, he straight up rejected them. He called out power dynamics, challenged authority. In a world built on quiet loyalty, Val became a liability. Not because of what he did, but because of what he wouldn't do. Val Kilmer later admitted it himself. I haven't gotten a studio job in 15 years. And he wasn't bitter, he was heartbroken. In interviews, he didn't shift blame. He said he was young, arrogant, and didn't understand the business. He thought it was about art, about truth. He had no idea how dangerous that belief could be in a place like Hollywood. But it gets even weirder. Behind the scenes, a whisper campaign was forming. No headlines, no official blacklist. Just phone calls that stopped, roles that vanished, directors who suddenly couldn't find space for him. It was like someone flipped a switch. And Kilmer? He was in the dark. It makes you wonder, who pulls the strings in Hollywood? Kilmer wasn't the only star who mysteriously disappeared in the late 90s. Mel Gibson, Brendan Fraser, Wesley Snipes. They all fell off the radar around the same time. Each had their own reasons, or so we thought. Mel described the industry shifting into something eerie, like an old Western saloon where a stranger walks in and everyone goes silent. They stare like you shouldn't be there, he said. And then it gets eerily suspicious. In 1999, Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut premiered only to have 25 minutes cut after his death. The film explored masks, secret societies, hidden power. Just months later, Kilmer was effectively erased from Hollywood. Coincidence? Or part of a larger pattern? Kilmer's Batman was unlike any other. He wasn't flashy or quippy. He was cold, haunted, isolated. It felt less like a performance and more like a cry for help. And behind the scenes, Kilmer was recording everything. His home life, film sets, personal thoughts. As if he knew one day he'd need evidence. But it gets darker. In his 2021 documentary, Val, he said, I have thousands of hours of tapes and film reels. One chilling moment shows someone asking him to shut the camera off. His reply, I'll keep it on until we're in rehearsal. It wasn't defiance, it was resistance. Right as Kilmer disappeared, Hollywood's darkest secrets began to leak out. Flights, black books, a certain island that everyone knows but no one names. Sound of Freedom, a film about trafficking, was filmed by 2018, but no studio would touch it. Why? It sat in limbo until Disney acquired the rights, then locked it away. It gets crazier. Mel Gibson, Hollywood's loudest critic, stood behind the film, called out the system, spoke about abuse, corruption, exploitation. And suddenly Mel too stopped getting major roles. Just like Kilmer, just like Fraser, just like anyone who speaks up when silence is expected. Mel didn't just support Sound of Freedom. He started hinting that Val Kilmer's disappearance wasn't just about cancer or even controversy. It was about knowing too much. He suggested that Kilmer saw something he wasn't supposed to, asked questions he shouldn't have, said things that made powerful people uncomfortable. But that's not the end of it. Val was no longer a threat, they made him a ghost. Once adored, now forgotten. Media narratives flipped. He went from genius to difficult, from intense to unstable. They didn't just stop hiring him, they rewrote who he was. When Val returned in Top Gun Maverick, fans thought it was a comeback. But it wasn't. That voice, artificial intelligence, that performance, painfully assembled, every day on set was brutal for him. He could barely stand, let alone act. Then it gets heartbreaking. After Maverick, he stopped showing up. No press, no events, no interviews. Friends say he stopped answering texts. Family couldn't reach him. This wasn't just distance, it was retreat. And in April, the world got the news. Val Kilmer had passed. Official cause, pneumonia. In Hollywood, pneumonia has become the go-to explanation. Kim Porter, Heavy D, Andre Harrell, all reportedly died from natural causes. But early reports about Porter suggested toxins. Harrell had no warning signs. Heavy D was found face down. And now Kilmer joins the list. And what comes next is chilling. Kilmer's autopsy mentioned more than just illness. Severe malnutrition, lingering infections, painkillers strong enough to numb constant agony. His body was falling apart, but he never told anyone. He didn't ask for help, he just faded. In his final days, Kilmer painted, wrote in journals, posted a video of himself as Batman. His voice was soft, his eyes distant. "I have an animal for us," he said, a cryptic line, a nostalgic smile. Fans now believe it wasn't a tribute, it was a goodbye. But it doesn't end there. Kilmer wasn't just a star, he was a whistleblower in disguise, a man who traded comfort for conscience, who said no when silence was safer. If he was blacklisted for speaking out, then what does that say about those who stayed? It makes you stop and wonder, who on earth are these elites that have the power to blacklist big-time celebs like Kilmer? And also, why are they doing it? What are their motives? Kind of scary. Val Kilmer didn't just vanish, he was erased, but not completely. His story survived in fragments, in documentaries, in AI-assembled scenes, in tapes he refused to turn off. He was silenced, but never surrendered. So the real question isn't what happened to Val Kilmer, it's what was he trying to warn us about? And if you think this story was wild, wait until you see who might be next.